Hello guys, and welcome back to this masterclass for the beginners. It's your guy once again, the Wolf. So remember guys, in the previous lesson we talked about CSS selectors, and of today we're going to learn about how to add CSS in our document over here. So when a browser actually reads a style sheet, it will format the HTML documents according to the information in the style sheet. So there is 3 ways of adding this CSS in this document, and the first one is the external CSS, and the second one is internal CSS and inline CSS. So let's start off by doing the external CSS. So guys, with the external style sheet, you can change the looks of an entire website by changing just one line. So each HTML page must include a reference to the external style sheet file inside the link element. So and then set the head section. So let's start off by doing this example here. So I'll just clean everything here, or just click File, New File, and I'll just save, Control S to save. And it's saving, so I just want to save on the desktop and in my HTML CSS file here. So I just call it CSS placement place, or like just like that, and I will say .css just like that, and then save it from here, so I can even cancel this. Yes, now just let's use this, the one that I've saved. So first of all, I'm just going to write HTML just like that, and then hit enter. And actually the best way of doing this, you just write the docu type, which is HTML. The docu type is document type, docu type HTML. And then now if I write HTML and then hit, wow, it should have actually popped. Then I should remove this and this also. So the next tab, is it really good spells? Yeah. So HTML. Wow. I think I should save this as HTML. Save as .html. I think I should save like that. Okay. So if I do this again, if I say HTML, yeah, there we go. So from here, let me just add on the title. The title should be CSS placing, where to place this CSS. So place, or I can just say inserting CSS, inserting, just like that. Wow. So I'll start off by external CSS, and the external CSS I must add the in the head. I'm just going to add the link there. So I'll just come over here again, and then I had to put the link there, so I'll just say link, just like that. Yeah, you see. Actually, let me just remove all this meta information first so that it can be cleaner. And then from here now, I'm going to create another file, then I save it .css. So new file, and then I call it Control S to save it. And I just wanna name it my style Now remember, we are doing the external CSS where we are connecting a file from external CSS to our page in HTML file. So, and I've already said that the HTML page must include the reference to external style sheet file inside the link elements, and that's why now I'm creating the link here. So this one I just want to save it as .css, just like that. And now I can come back here to this over here, and then the link is this one here. So I'm just going to replace this href here. Okay, here I'm just going to change the href. So the href here, in fact I can remove this, no problem, that's no effect. So, and then I have this my style.css here. So my style, and make sure the spelling is correct, because if it's not correct, it's not going to work. CSS, just like that. And that is small letter, though it's not case sensitive. From there we are done linking on our head here. So the next thing, we just want to write something, and then we put the CSS on its side, and then we do something here, we see whether it's going to change. So in our body here, I'm just going to write the h1 tag. I should have h1, and then in this h1 I just want to call it, this is my heading. So I can say this is my heading. This is my heading, and then I should have a paragraph here. So guys, I know you know how to create a paragraph. P-tag, hit it, and then I can say this is this is a paragraph. So simple as that. This is okay. So this is a paragraph, just like that. So I just want to change the colors and do some properties on this paragraph. So I just come back here on my HTML, in my HTML tab, and then I go change some thing there. So in my HTML, in my CSS here, I'm just going to change the features. So let me just change this. Before I continue this, just make sure that an external CSS sheet can be, you know, it can be written in any text editor, and it must be saved with .css. As you can see, the way we have saved it, and we have this star here, it means that it has been saved correct. And then one thing you should notice also is that the external CSS file should not contain any HTML tags, because now it's the CSS, it's not the HTML tag. So let's do it. Let's do the CSS here. So I'm just going to pick the element here, maybe the body element. So you start off by the whole body, changing the whole body. So I'm just going to say body, and then I put my background. I just want to change my background to be, let's call it light blue, yeah. And then another thing that I want to change is the h1, because we have h1 in our elements. So h1 here, h1, I should change the h1 to what property should I give h1? Let me just put some, change my color over there, and maybe call it navy, yeah, navy. And then I can change the position by maybe the margin left. Actually, you can see the property. So the margin left should be maybe 20 pixels. So it should move from the left side 20 pixels. If you can count, you will you get 20 pixels by just counting the small circle. You can't see them. Yeah, so I should save this, save everything, and save this also. And now, So you can see the styles are in this file, and the element, the HTML element, is on this side. So if I open in the browser, look what happened. There you go. So you can see the whole body is just in navy blue, I mean light blue, and then our head here, this is my heading, it's actually navy, and then the margin, for the margin of the H1, it has moved 20 pixels. You can see, you can count all these are actually 20 pixels from the left side. So that is all. So one thing you should notice here is that do not add a space between the property value, this 20 here. Don't add a space here. Yeah, you see. So, and the unit pixel, you know, if you put the space there, I think it's not going to work. So it will be, this will be incorrect, but the correct one is just this one over here. It should be like that. That's how it can work. So let's see internal CSS. So an internal style sheet may be useful if one single HTML page has a unique style. So the internal style is defined inside the style and then elements and inside the head section. So to do the internal CSS, this is what we normally do. So we will define the internal style inside this page here. So what we will do here, we will come in the head here. You see, in the head. So let me just comment. I don't know how I should comment this. So just let me just remove all this, the external here, and then I create my internal. So to do the internal, just create a style here. It's just right here, and then click like that. So in this one, we don't need even to include this text here. So we normally delete it, and then we put our property in there. So the first thing that I want to do, I want to change the background, so I'll just say background. Actually I will start off by the body. So body, just like that. The body should be, let me just call it background again. Background color, I need the background color, not this one. Background color, it's just right here. And then I just want to call it, I wanna have a color of linen, just like that. Where have I written that? This, Control C. So I should write here and call it linen, just like that. And then what else? So let me again change the H1, just like the way we did on the other side, but this is now internal CSS. So H1, again the H1, what should we have in H1? Maybe let's change the color, and we want a maroon, right? Remember, you can even use hexadecimal code where you can change the color by using hexadecimals. So maroon, hit that, and then we can add the margin left. Let's have a margin left. It's just right here. Margin left, we want 40 pixels, so it's going to move away from the left side 40 pixels, and then a line over there, and then our style is closed. Now if I run this again, remember the previous one was just looking like this from the external one. Let me just save this, and also it's only that. So if I reload this, we're going to experience something different. So you can see the background has changed, and this is my heading, it's a maroon color, and it has moved 40 pixels. I can add more. Let's say I can say 100 pixels. See what happens if I use maybe 250 pixels. So it will just move away from the left side. So save this, reload this. So you can see it has really moved 250 pixels. So that is it. So let's talk about the third one, which is inline CSS. So an inline style may be used to apply a unique style for a single element. So to use inline style, add the style attribute on the relevant element. So the style attribute can contain any CSS property. So let's define this here. So the first thing I'm just going to do in inline style sheets, let's remove this first. So inline here, we define them in that property exactly in the element. So for example, we have this h1 here. So to do the inline one, we just put the element in this element over here. So I'm just going to put the name itself, which is a style, and then now I can put the property just right there, and I can say color. So this is inline color, I can say blue, and then a comma, semicolon, and then maybe I can say text align, I can say center, just like that. And yeah, and also the p tag here, I can still have the inline style. So I'm going to give maybe a color. I can give a color of what, red, and they can, yeah, simple as that. So if I run this again, let me run it, and you can see now if I reload this, look what happened in the center, and then this one I changed to red. So this is inline style sheet. So tips: an inline style loses many of the advantage of a style sheet by mixing content with presentation. So use this method sparingly. So let's talk about multiple style sheets. So if some property have been defined for the same selector, let's say element, in a different style sheet, the value from the last red style sheet will be used. So assume that an external style sheet has the following thing that I want to do here for h1. Oh, this is now growing big. Wow. So let me go back. Yeah, it's okay. This is so big, right? Okay, let's continue. So guys, what I mean here is that if, for example, let's assume that in this h1 here, the color is really navy one, and then the inline you can see the color is blue. So what do you think will happen here? What do you think will happen here? So here, the value from the last red style sheet will be used. This one here, this will be used. But let's do it and see what happens. So let's do it and see what happens. So I just want to have my link here again, and let me just bring my link. And I'm just going to remove all this, because you're not going to help. Actually, I should control Z, so I should remove nothing I'm going to remove there. So I include my style sheet there. My style.css. So and again I have, and I should have this here. So let me have my style in here again. So let me just include the style, and in this style, so we are having multiple links, right, or multiple styles. So we want to see which one actually will be chosen and which one will be left out. So here I have H1, and H1. In my H1 here, I just wanna have H1. I just wanna have a color of orange. Let's see which one will be chosen. And should I have the inline now? The inline one now, just because this inline is okay. Let's run first and see which one actually happens. So let me save it, and come here, so save it, and see which one is picked. Whew. Okay, it means the inline property is the one which is picked. Let's remove this first, and remove this fill there, right? Also remove this. So we have seen that the inline has the first priority, and then let's save this and see which one actually takes over again. So we don't have inline, so we have left with this one here and the external. So internal, we are left with internal and the external. Let's save it again, save it, and let's see which one is picked. So let's roll it again. Oh, this is my heading. This, okay, it's this yellow orange. So the inline one is picked. So yeah, that's how it works. So the inline is first picked, and then internal, and then external. So that's what happens. So let's talk about cascading order. So what style will be used when there is more than one style specific for HTML element? So all the styles in a page will cascade into a new virtual style sheet by the following rules, where number one has the highest priority. So inline styles, which is inside an HTML element, and also the external and the internal style sheet in the head section, and then the third one, browser default. So an inline style has the highest priority, and they will override the external and the internal styles and the browser default. So guys, lastly, what you need to know is that we have seen the priority here, and we have seen the inline is the first is picked, and then the internal, and then the external. So guys, that's all for today's class, and hope you learned something. And remember, this course is meant for full stack development, where we have to learn developing a web application where you need to use HTML, CSS, and one of the language, either PHP or JS or JSP. But I picked the JSP because it's more faster than the rest of it. So this is the journey to become a full stack developer. Thank you so much guys, and make sure you subscribe this, and goodbye.